Hello, Pilgrim James here, and I'd like to share with you another quote from G.K. Chesterton, because there is a quote that I have thought of in my life many, many times over the last decades. It's meant a lot to me. There are times when it's difficult to have gratitude, and yet I do believe that gratitude is the healthiest of all emotions. It's not even really an emotion, is it? It's more like an attitude. They talk about the attitude of gratitude, and I think that's a good, memorable line. But it's not always easy. I find there are days when things look dark and shadowy, and it's kind of tough to feel grateful when you know what happens. Well, I often think of this quote from G.K. Chesterton, and I hope it's something that you will find meaningful for yourself. He says, "I have said that stories of magic alone can express my sense that life is not only a pleasure, but a kind of eccentric privilege. A book always read in childhood, Robinson Crusoe, owes its eternal vivacity to the fact that it celebrates the poetry of limits, nay, even the wild romance of prudence. Crusoe is a man on a small rock with small comforts just snatched from the sea. The best thing in the book is simply the list of things saved from the wreck. The greatest of poems is an inventory. Every kitchen tool becomes ideal because Crusoe might have dropped it in the sea. It's a good exercise in empty or ugly hours of the day to look at anything, the coal scuttle, the bookcase, and think how happy one could be to have brought it out of the sinking ship and onto the solitary island. But it is a better exercise still to remember how all things have had this hairbreadth escape. Everything has been saved from a wreck. Every human being has had one horrible adventure as a hidden, untimely birth they had not been, as infants that never see the light. People spoke much in my boyhood of restricted or ruined men of genius, but it was common to say that many a man was a great might have been. To me, it's much more solid and startling fact that any person in the street is a great might not have been. But I really felt as if all the order and number of things were the romantic remnant of Crusoe's ship. That there was one sun is like the fact that there's only one axe. It was poignantly urgent that none should be lost, but somehow rather fun that none could be added. The trees and the planets seemed like things saved from the wreck. And when I saw the Matterhorn, I was glad that it had not been overlooked in the confusion. I felt economical about the stars, as if they were sapphires. I hoarded the hills. For the universe is a single jewel, and while it is a natural cant to talk of a jewel as peerless and priceless, of this jewel it is literally true. This cosmos is indeed without peer and without price, for there cannot be another one." G.K. Chesterton was a man who knew how to be excited about life. And he certainly is a man who knows how to express things that I deeply feel. And that's one of them. So I hope it was helpful to you. I often remember Robinson Crusoe on those days when it's a little bit difficult for me to start feeling grateful. And I look around, and I don't have a coal scuttle, but I do have a bookcase and lots of books, as you know from this series. And I do look at it from time to time and feel grateful that that bookcase and all those books were indeed as if washed up to the shore of my lonely island from a wreck that really might have been. But the words have been saved, the books have been saved, and they're able to have their effect on me, which is why I started this whole YouTube channel, so that those words in turn could wash up onto your island.